Bhagavan, as a child, when you were more interested in spiritual things, when you were going into spiritual states and performing spiritual practices, even from an early age, what was the attitude of your parents?
My father was an atheist, and he was a no-nonsense person. And I was most of the time alone by myself. So he was a little disturbed about it. And he used to ask me, what do you propose to do with your life? I said, I'm going to transform the world.
Even from young age you knew this?
Yes.
From what age, Bhagavan, did he know?
That could have been probably 6 or 7.
Ah.
So my father used to ask me, what do you think you are? I used to tell him, I'm God. And that put real fear into him.
Ah.
So the family got together and they were thinking whether they should show me to a psychiatrist. Maybe I was suffering from a messiah complex or some such thing. But then they found that I was quite ordinary otherwise. There was no trouble being caused. I was good at academics, was doing my work, and was causing no trouble to others. And some friends advised, don't take him to a psychiatrist, that could lead to other kinds of problems. So he put up with this for many, many years. So this was going on and on. So I was 10, I was 13, I was 15, I was 18. The same story was being repeated. He used to ask me, what do you propose to do? And the same answer would come out. And who do you think you are? I am God. No? So this is really too much. So then he thought maybe marriage could be the best solution to this. So he said, you have to get married. I said, that's fine. And the marriage happened and the same thing continued. And
this was much later when you were 28, wasn't it? Marriage
yes,
happened,
married. And the same story that I am God. And worse till now, my wife was saying that she was God's wife. So he couldn't take in all this with his strong atheistic background. So finally he told me one day, well, if it's all true, convince me that you are God, give me the experiences. I said I would do that. I gave him a lot of experiences. He was very convinced and I was so happy. He said, I don't think I need to live any longer. And then a few months later he passed away. Out of sheer happiness.
Out of sheer happiness,
Yes.
he died of happiness.
Yes.
So when you say, I am God,
Yes.
it's saying, I am God and you are God too.
Yes.
Only you may not recognize it.
You
right
may not
now.
recognize it, that is all.
Yes.
I often say that I'm God. Now, it has to be carefully understood. To me, all life is one. There's only one life. That which is flowing through you, through me, through your wife, through the lion, the elephant, the tiger, the ant, through the trees, through the sun and the moon, to the universe. The same one life is expressing itself through all these forms. And that life is what I call God. So I am God, you are God, the ant is God, the elephant is God, the one in the prison is God, the crook is God, the murderer is God, the saint is God, the sage is God. These are the different manifestations of God.
And what sort of education did you pass through?
I did my graduation in mathematics, and most of my education was in Christian institutions. To be more specific, it was at Don Bosco School in Chennai. So that was where I was mostly educated by Jesuit priests.
I see.
So I have a very good understanding of Christianity.
And how was it, since you were involved so much in these spiritual activities you were describing, how did the studies go for you? Was it a struggle? Was it easy?
Actually, I could not pay attention in school because this activity was going on inside me, like the chanting of certain mantras and certain other things were going on. But somehow when the exams came, I could handle the exams. And I used to do fairly well in the exams.
Bhagavan, you were mentioning about these mantras that were coming inside of you and also different postures that you were going into. Now, normally, people involve themselves in these kind of practices for their own spiritual evolution.
Yes.
But I think for you it must have been somehow a little different because you said that you never knew non-enlightenment.
Yes, yes.
So what was, for you, do you know what was the purpose of these things?
I really did not know what is the purpose of this because there was no intent behind my doing this. As I told you earlier, I was made to do these things. We could postulate something like a higher energy or a higher power which made me do these things. What for, I had no idea at that time. Now, the mantra I was chanting, I had no idea because it was not conforming to the Sanskrit words, There's something wrong about it. But still, I was only made to chant those words. So I was made to go through all this for what I never knew at that time, till the phenomenon broke loose.
And once the phenomenon broke loose, did you then understand what these
Then
were?
I could understand all that had earlier happened.
Uh-huh.
In fact, it helped me a lot.
I see. And when you look back now
Yes.
on those mantras and postures, how do you
Yes.
understand them now as you look back?
I understand that they were preparing for this Deeksha, for the transmission of these energies. That was the preparation.
I see.
But without my knowledge.
I see. So that which was causing these
Yes.
things to happen,
Yes.
was that something other than you, or was it from within you?
At that point of time, it appeared to me as though that was something other than me. But now, to me, it looks as though that also is me.
Yes, I see. Bhagavan, you said as a child and growing up also that you felt, you had the experience, I am God. And at the same time, you had the experience that some higher power was commanding you.
Yes.
So these sound a little bit different thing. Can you explain that?
Yes. When I used to go to temples, I used to sometimes feel that I was inside the idol and watching out. So then I had this feeling that I must be God because I seem to be inside the idol and not outside. And yet, being a small boy, there were times when I wanted to play out, go and mix with other children. The desires used to come, but I found that I was being held back. I was not being allowed to play. I was being made to do these things. So I began to attribute it to a higher power, which was overpowering me. So I wanted to play but could not. So this thing would stop me and say, no, sit here like this and do that. So I was thinking of that as a higher power. But as the years rolled by and the phenomenon took its birth, I could see it was part of me doing that. It became one.
And when did you meet your wife, Amma?
Well, it so happened that there came a point of time when my parents decided I must get married. And since I always believed in making parents happy, I said, okay, go ahead. In India, we have this tradition of parents selecting the bride or the bridegroom, making them meet and talk. So it so happened that some family friends made us meet. And the moment I saw her, I knew that she was to be my soulmate. And she also felt the same way. And she had all the years been praying that she must marry God. So somehow she felt that this was the man she should marry. And there was no second thought. And then we got married.
What about for Amma? Did she pass through a process of having self and becoming enlightened, or was it like for you?
Yes, in Amma's case also, the obsession was just wanting to get married to God. Because this kind of thing does exist in India. And that being the case, she was very different from other women. So in a sense, we can say she also was in a different state of consciousness, not the normal state of consciousness. Because her only obsession was with God. She used to get up very early in the mornings, go to the river banks, do prayers, do the rituals. She was doing nothing else but that. Well, children of her age were trying to become doctors and engineers. She wasn't doing all that. She was only focused on getting married to God and her rituals and prayers. It has now become a sort of tradition in that village now to do some rituals which she performed in order to get a good husband.
And then, after you were married, did you right away start the school, or did you have some other life first?
No, when I got married, I was working with a public sector organization. And after I got married, I resigned the job and started the school. I was waiting for her to come into my life to start the school. But once this phenomenon broke out, the school became so famous that it nearly became impossible to run the school anymore. And we had to focus on our spiritual work. So we shut down the school. Yeah. And now we help other schools do this kind of work.
And so what happened next? Was that when the dasas began at that time?
What happened, the school closed down as an academic institution, and it became an ashram for spiritual work, and the dasas emerged.